All right, this video is for Atticus. It's a song I learned to play, one of the very first songs I learned to play. It's called She Talks to Angels by the Black Crowes. In the original version, the guitar is actually tuned a funny way, but it's actually really good to just play it in standard tuning because it will teach you how to play the E chord. So we'll get started right away here. To play an E chord, so this is our E string. We're going to put our this finger here on the A string 2nd fret, the ring finger on the D string 2nd fret, and the index finger will go 1st fret on the G string right there. So and we're going to strum all of the strings. So you can listen to the song. There's a fancy intro, but we'll skip that for now. We'll come back to it later in a different lesson. The basic song is that's the verse. What I'm doing, I'm just playing that E chord, and then I'm taking my pinky and I'm tucking it up on the G string 2nd fret right here. So I'm putting that right there on that string. And strumming with it down, picking it up, strumming again, strumming with it down, picking it up. So that repeats, and he sings a verse. And then when it goes to the chorus, the same chord shape, you don't even have to pick your fingers up, you just slide them up the neck. Eventually you'll want to practice kind of not sliding them, but for now, just slide them. So here's what's happening. We're taking that same shape and we're sliding it up to what would be a B chord, but we're still strumming the high strings open. You could hit the bottom string, but I wouldn't do that. The idea is to kind of aim with your pick and try and hit the A string on down, the rest of them. But here's a little trick. Even if you do hit the E string, if you allow this finger to kind of gently touch the E string so it can't make a sound, that's called muting. So you can still strum all wildly as long as that's kind of touching the E string. It won't matter if you hit the E string, right? But you're not trying to play an open, not really trying to play that. So this is a B chord. We are on this is the 9th fret. So 9, 9, 8, right? And then open. It's the 7th fret, 7th fret, 6th fret, with that finger. And then we're back down to the regular E chord. So that's the whole song pretty much, minus the fancy intro bits. Lot to learn here. First of all, you'll find out when you leave your fingers like this, and play for a while, they're gonna get sore. It helps to kind of you're basically sanding your skin cells off the tips of your fingers, and they'll get sore, and you'll get some blisters, and it'll fall off. It's just part of the ritual. Eventually, that won't happen anymore, but right now, it's going to happen. Just get it over with. And then, anyway, so again, you're down at the E chord. And then the chorus goes B chord, the A chord, so how do I know those are the B chord and the A chord? So let's talk about the chords. This is an E chord because we call it an E chord because the root note is the open E string. And then this shape that we make with our finger, with our fingers, maps out the fifth note of the scale, the octave, and the third note of the scale. Makes something called the triad. Don't worry about that. It's an E chord. Open E string, that's the root note, that's the name of the chord, right? We come up here, the other way you could play that, right? So you could play it like this. This thing down here is called the nut. The nut's acting like a finger, right? Because that's stopping, that's where the string stops, right? But if we move up here, that would be a B bar chord, right? But in this song, he's not playing that. He's actually just playing this, and he's letting these top strings ring open. But it's still that B triad, that fancy word I said a minute ago, because it's still got the fifth, the octave, and the third, right? Same thing with A. This is an A note, and this is A bar chord shape. But he's not doing this, he's doing that. So we can get away with just leaving our fingers in the same form, hammering our pinky up and down. You let that ring out. That's when people go crazy and they cheer. All right, so She Talks to Angels. There you go. Work on it. Make those fingers bleed. It's good for you. Have fun. Text me with any questions.